Alright, here we go. Heroes of the Storm patch notes for January 23rd. Cool. Lots of changes. I haven't actually seen these yet, so I'm curious to see what there is. So Gul'dan, level 7, Curse of Exhaustion. Movement speed slow increased from 25% to 35%. That's nice, making that a lot more appealing, especially because... sorry, it's a quick match. Gul'dan. I don't know. Sorting through these is hard. There he is. Like, you're going up against more damage-based stuff, right? In a way. So, like, Hunger for Power, just raw spell power. This reducing the cooldown of Corruption, and Corruption being the most popular build. This is pretty nice then. You know, like, Drain Life does 50% more damage and slows movement speed by 35% if they're afflicted by Corruption. So, a bit more of a single-target focus build. I think it's an interesting talent, so I'm glad to see it kind of come back. There we go. Harvest Life, healing increased from 50 to 75%, and Dark Bargain health bonus increased. So again, these are very unpicked talents compared to Fell Armor, which is useful, just spell armor very consistently, or Healthstone, which is on demand, big chunk of health. This is just permanent 30% more max HP. Not too bad then, actually. It's like getting to the point where it's actually good. And then Drain Life healing for 75% more health when used on heroes. I like what they've done with Gul'dan, taking like couple of weird talents and some different type of builds and different type of playstyle and being like, you know what, we're going to try and make these actually good. Illidan, Metamorphosis, bonus health increased by 10%, 200 to 220. Fiery Brand, damage bonus increased from 6 to 7% max health. So this is the one, there he is, where it's like you build it up by hitting, oh no, sorry, it's not, it's this one, consecutive attacks. Every 4th attack against the same hero does an additional 7% of their max health as damage. That's pretty nice. This Mark for Death is very consistent, just bonus damage, and Blades of Azzinoth is, you know, your sweeping strikes through there and you really pop it for bonus damage combined with Battered Assault. That's cool. Fiery Brand, okay. Jaina, Frostbolt, less damage. Cone of Coal, less damage. And bear in mind, because her trait works multiplicatively, that's actually a fairly significant nerf, right? Because her trait makes her abilities do 50% more damage, it means that like, this has gone from doing, math's on the spot, but 50%, like, you're losing damage on the 50% bonus, so that's actually fairly significant. Ice Flows, cooldown reduction increased from 2 to 3. Ice Fury Wand, damage bonus increased from 75 to 100%. Cooldown reduction increased from 1. Interesting stuff there. Okay, so Ice Hand's still the same. Ice Flows, cooldown reduction is now 3 seconds per hero hit, up to maximum of 6. And Ice Fury Wand, your basic attacks against shield heroes do double damage and lower the cooldown of Blizzard. That is interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, I mean, Ice Fury 1 starts to look really good, I would say. And that also makes, like, you know, Snowstorm better as well by proxy. That's cool. Northern Exposure, the armor reduce. Okay, that's interesting. And that definitely opens... I say that would start to open stuff up a lot more. That could be interesting. Play like an Ice Fury Wand build Jaina. That could be quite fun. I'd be down for that. We might try that. Junkrat. Cooldown of Rocket Ride, massively reduced. Yeah. Yeah. Level 20. Puckish Scamp. Cooldown reduction reduced from 70 to 45. Also increased the damage of Rocket Ride. Okay. So that's, I don't even know what Puckish Scamp does. I don't think I've ever taken Rocket Ride in a serious game. Or ever taken this. Okay, cooldown by 45. Okay. So that's fine, because they reduced by 25, so they knocked this down by 25, so it's still really short. And it also increases the damage of Rocket Ride. Okay, cool. Boom Pow. Cooldown reduction increased from 10 to 12. Hitting an enemy with Concussion Mine reduces its cooldown by 12 seconds. Yeah? So it's a 4-second cooldown then on Concussion Mine. That's interesting, alright. I mean, part of the thing is that Cannonball is so good for bonus damage. It might have even been better nerfing this to like 40% radius. I'm not sure. Anyway, Kerrigan. Assimilation Mastery. Shield amount increased. Cool. Sonic Barrier. Spell Armor increased. So a couple little buffs to Kerrigan, actually. I guess they over-nerfed her, in their opinion, anyway. Li-Ming. Ether Walker. Damage taken time requirement for bonuses reduced from 4. They're constantly buffing this talent. Like, this is... I don't know how many times they've buffed this, but a ton. They've buffed it so many times. Ether Walker. If you haven't taken damage in 3 seconds now, teleport costs no mana. Its cooldown's reduced to 2 seconds. Like, honestly, this is pretty good. Like, it's pretty good. It's like sometimes you really want force armor. Ideally, you want power hungry, because the mana return is really nice, and the spell power is really nice. But Ether Walker is really not that bad. And Diamond Skin, they've buffed that too. Interesting. I mean, there's no particular synergy between the two, because, well, the shield's only useful if you have taken damage, so yeah. But still, there you are. Maiev. Pin down. First reward damage bonus increase 15 to 25%. I'm not sure what that is exactly. I think it's the quest, hitting your Qs, I guess, is it? Wait, pin down is level 4. That's right. Okay, hitting multiple heroes with a single fan of knives. Hit 3, and it's now going to give you 25% instead of 15. Wowzers. Okay. Each additional time, gain additional 5%. All right, nice. So they made that just much better from the get-go. I think that's fair, because hitting 3 heroes is actually pretty hard. Bonds of Corruption. Armor reduction increased from 3 to 4 seconds. Okay, that's actually pretty nice too. So when you pull heroes with Umbral Bind, reduce their physical armor by 25 for 4 seconds. I think that's better as well. Physical armor, like it does take a while for that to get value, depending. Whereas like spell armor reduction, you know, like a 2-second spell armor reduction is kind of equal to like 4 seconds physical armor. You know, roughly speaking, in my mind, in terms of how useful it's actually going to be. Shadow armor duration increased. Level 13. Blink granting armor. This becomes very appealing now. That's cool. Okay, interesting. I'm surprised that they're actually giving buffs to Maiev. Seems a bit crazy to me, but some of them are kind of unusual talents. But I mean, I think bonds and shadow armor are pretty good. So I'm surprised they're getting buffed. Mephisto. Lightning Nova, mana cost reduced. Mana cost reduced on Shade. Endurance of Hate. Cooldown reduced. What? Monk Mega. Are you serious? Okay. Alright then. For some reason, they've buffed Endurance of Hate. Wow. Well, Mephisto just got real fucking good, I would say. I mean, he was already good, and now I think he's even better. I would recommend just like Q build with Endurance of Hate. I think it's incredibly good. So yeah, go Mephisto, go. Nova. Stealth requirement reduced. That makes sense, because poor Nova. Sorry, which one is this? Covert Ops. Covert Ops. After being stealth for 4 seconds, pinning shot thing is buffed. Okay, I think that's fair. Make it maybe useful in an actual team fight. Who knows? Rapid projection. Cooldown mana cost reduction increased from 40 to 50%. Hull stability buffed as well. Okay, cool. So buffing these the E talents instead of just covert mission being taken all the time. I mean, I think these are pretty good then. I mean, they're already pretty good. They actually buffed explosive round, eh? Okay. Interesting. 90% damage to enemies near the impact. I mean, honestly, I just feel like you're going full snipe build. Like, why not? It just seemed like perfect shot and psionic efficiency, maybe. And explosive round. That seems so good. Like, yeah. I'm also surprised they buffed that, but hey, there you go. Shifting Meteor, the W quest buff for Ragnaros. Now that one makes sense. It's poor old Ragnaros with this W build. I think the W build of Ragnaros holds like the title. Like, it has like a special place for being like probably the bad build that gets called a good build most often. It's really incredible. Now this does make it better. Each time they're hit, they take 5% increased damage. That's a massive increase. That will scale up extremely quickly. So maybe the W build might actually be somewhat respectable now. Who knows? But yeah, poor old W build Ragnar. It's just bizarre. People seem to think it's insanely good. And it rarely is. Zeratul, Void Slash, damage reduced. That's fair. And Shadow Mending, healing reduced. Okay, I think those are both 2 good nerfs. Zeratul, kind of insane late game. Basically, you have greater cleave, so it's easy to cleave multiple people. Your cleave is doing 40% more damage to people that it hits. And then you're grabbing Void Slash, which reduces the cooldown to half. And hitting more than one hero, you do bonus damage. And then you're doing tons of healing from Shadow Mending from that. It becomes this monster. So I think this nerf is well vindicated. And I think this is too. I like those changes. I mean, honestly, they could probably nerf this to 50% and it'd still be insane, I would think. Void Slash, the cooldown reduction is important to the actual gameplay of it. Just working with your like wormhole charges and your Vorpal Blade. So having the 3-second reduction, I think, is good. I mean, they could, yeah, you can even nerf it more if needs be. Gazlowe, Gravel Bomb, big buff to its cooldown and mana cost. And Raining Scrap. I think that's the one that just creates like, what, 3 or 4 pieces of scrap around him. He is a specialist. Roll rework. Coming soon. It's a big buff to Gravel Bomb. I think that was needed. So I think, realistically, it's like, at this point, you know, Gravel Bomb, you know, it really, there have been so many heroes added that do similar things, you know, like, well, Maiev, you know. So I think buffing that is probably a good call. I think it's quite an archaic thing at this point. So a buff is definitely justified. And it's raining scrap. Oh, it's 5 scrap around Gazlowe over 5 seconds. Now 30-second cooldown. Okay, cool. I don't know if that's... I don't know. Someone who plays Gazlowe could say if that's good or not. Compared to like Mecha Lord, which is insanely good. Like just 25 armor. Bam. Or then, you know, this one is really good. Fire my laser seems pretty bad in comparison. Interesting one there. Lost Vikings. It's a sabotage. Damage. Oh, finally some love for the TLV. Poor TLV. They were... their talents were in a weird spot for a long time, so glad to see that gets a little bit of love. It's a sabotage. Eric's attacks against structures, light them on fire for 5 seconds, doing 250 damage, so way more damage and way faster. That makes it substantially better. That's so much better. So that could be an interesting playstyle. Norse Force, shield amount increased all across the board. I think that's good too. Vikings gain a shield, increasing strength for each Viking alive. That becomes pretty good, I guess. And Norse attack squad, cooldown reduced from 30 to 20, damage increased. What's this do? All Viking basic attacks do bonus damage equal to 1.25% of a hero's maximum health for 5 seconds. Are we gonna do a team fighting Vikings game? Chat, I think we're gonna do a team fighting Vikings game. This is gonna be amazing. Just go in, especially against non-heroes. I mean, you can kind of take anything there, like whatever. Healing's double against heroes. I mean, you could still take the map play stuff here. I mean, spin to win is also good, but like, I guess you got like Norse Force. You'd still have like jump. Oh, I guess you. Oh no, you'd lose jump. Okay, so Norse Force has been buffed, so use Norse Force instead of jump. Nordic attack squad. Then you can take Impatience as a virtue, which reduces the cooldown of their abilities. I guess you'd lose Sergeant in charge. I don't know. I'll have to think about this. And they have so many freaking talents. It's a bit of a mess, even still. I'll think about what sort of build might actually work. I'll think about it. Murky. Cast time of his egg reduced. Oh man, he's like literally went from F tier to S tier. I joke. Living the dream. Maximum stacks increased. Okay, so nice little buffs to Murky. Nice little buffs to Murky. That's cool. Zagara. Bile drop. Increases the impact radius of infested drop by 20% after hitting 15 enemy heroes. An additional roach is spawned. The quest that no one has ever finished in the history of the game. I mean, the radius increase is always nice. Hitting heroes with it is very difficult. Very difficult. We'll see. I mean, honestly, I prefer they just made this easier. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not like either of these talents are that amazing either, so I think it's totally fine. That seems pretty decent, actually. Abundance. Nice buff to Alexstrasza. Life binder mana cost reduced. Abundance cooldown reduced. That is nice. Dragon scales. Armor amount increased. Ooh. My favorite healer just became even more good. Hooray. So yeah, that's really nice. So more W's on the ground. That's Pog Champ. That's really good. And I do like her W build the best, so that's even better. And Dragon Scales is real nice. It gives you a lot of protection. Every 10 seconds you can trigger for 40 armor when you're stunned, rooted, or silenced, and for 2 seconds after. Dragon Scales is now insanely good. Yeah, Alexstrasza is in a great place now, I would say. Deckard actually got buffed back up again. They're like, oh shit, we killed the pro scene. We don't need this hero to be bad anymore. Hooray. Well, not bad, but we don't need to have nerfed him as much. Buff him up again. He's hard to play. Quest requirement reduced. Field study duration increased. So what are these exactly? So the duration of that. So your spell power buff lasts longer. Nice. Probably fair. And the quest requirement reduced. Have to hit 16 heroes. Nice. Super healing potion. Healing increased even more. I think they buffed that twice in a row. And the healing potion of revival buffed even more. Wowzers. Okay, not bad, not bad. Nice buffs to Deckard. Healing Palm healing increased on Kerosene. Cool. Cloud Serpent cooldown increased. Aww. Fast feet duration bonus increased on Eager Feet. And the cooldown safety sprint. So some little tweaks to Lily. I think they're fair. Morales, the cooldown has been increased on Safeguard. Bit of a nerf there. Malf, level 4. Many changes. Oh, the bonus XP just disappeared. Huh. Strangling Vines. Healing reduction increased from 30% to 40%. That makes that much better, I would say. Deep Roots duration increased from 25 to 40. What? 40% longer. Okay, that's very good. Vengeful Roots, trained damage reduced. Okay, I'd say Deep Roots is probably the best. Like, you're fucking the Roots are a zoning tool for 40% longer. And yeah, okay, I think Deep Roots is the way to go. Strangling Vines may be okay in like a sort of single target pick comp, but I mean, Deep Roots is much easier to use. It's much more likely that it's gonna work. It's like this especially this Strangling Vines gets much better if your team is good, whereas Deep Roots gets much better if the enemy team is bad. And I think it's much easier to bet on the enemy team messing up than it is to bet on your team synergizing really well. So I'd lean towards Deep Roots there, very much so now. Anub'arak, base attack damage nerfed a lot. Impale damage nerfed, okay. Legion of Beetles, moved from level 4. Resilient Scarabs removed, okay. So now, Legion of Beetles. Automatically spawn a beetle every 8 seconds. And beetles have 40 spell armor. Increase hardened character spell armor by 20. Man, I think Legion of Beetles is probably the best thing now. Its beetle build has been a difficult sell, particularly level 1, due to the power discrepancy of Resilient Scarab compared to other talents of this tier. In order to help this build, reducing the opportunity cost of picking its talents by removing Resilient Scarabs, baking its functionality into Legion of Beetles. This should make for a much more attractive talent at level 1 against its other options, should open up other build paths for players who like to slay their enemies with many tiny little friends. He's a bit too strong overall right now, yeah, so we're reducing his damage. He's not quite so dominant compared to other tanks. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Legion of Beetles, even as a standalone thing, becomes really good. Especially, this is like just an insanely good talent now. Like, if you're against a hero, let's say, like, imagine Hanzo or Li-Ming or Jaina, like any hero with a skill shot that hits like the first target hit, like these beetles, they'll now be alive for significantly longer because they got 40 spell armor, and because you're making one for free, there's just this extra target getting in the way of skill shots, just blocking stuff, right? And there's a lot of heroes that have skill shots that it will block. This becomes insanely good. Yeah, I think that's insanely, like, regardless of whatever else you take, you don't need to take another beetle talent. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, beetles heal Anub'arak, you don't need that. Like, this is just purely as a defensive, just blocking skill shots thing. Like, the value of this, if you're like, well, I have this extra beetle, it survives like a random AoE, like it survives Kael'thas Flame Strike because it has spell. I don't know if it would, but hypothetically, if it did, because it has spell armor, and then it absorbs like the Kael'thas stun, like that is so much value. It's insane. Phase Prism reduced for Artanis, mana cost reduced. Yeah, well, yeah. Reactive parry buffed a lot. Graviton Vortex, mana cost reduced. Okay, cool. So buffs to Artanis because he kind of sucks. That's nice. Juggernaut Plating, cooldown reduced. Okay, cool. Juggernaut Plating. I mean, Artanis is not bad. He's all right. He's all right. I'm sorry, Artanis. This one's pretty nice now. So, yeah, 50 spell armor. It's now on a 30-second cooldown instead of 40. So that's up a lot more frequently. That should sync up with like 90-second heroics and stuff a lot more easily as well, and 60-second heroics. It should just be it should be a lot more forgiving to use this. 50 spell armor for 3 seconds. Cool, cool, cool. Chen, basic attack damage buffed. Ooh. Flying kick damage buffed. Fortifying brew, shield amount reduced. Just on his trait. Interesting. Okay. So just a lot more damage on your boy Chen. Armor bonus increased on that quest. Cooldown reduction on purifying brew. Withering Flames. Okay, we're pushing Chen towards more of a bruiser role with these changes. One of the long-standing issues with Chen is due to his trait functionality and tuning. He can either be shut down fairly easily or be too powerful depending on if the enemy team has the necessary CC and burst damage to deal with him. We're beginning to experiment with smoothing this out but by increasing his sustained survivability, reducing the amount of burst he can tackle while also increasing his damage. While we're still iterating on him, we wanted to get some preliminary changes out sooner rather than hold back until we're finished. Well, I like this idea for sure. I think that's pretty reasonable. So they're really upping his damage quite a lot. Should be interesting to play some Chen. Cool. Garrosh, body check. Max, what? Minimum movement speed slow increased from 30 to 40%. Maximum slow remains at 60%. So making this extra ability that no one ever takes more interesting. Double up, cooldown reduced. Blood Craze healing increased. Okay, so trying to take away some of the Q builds. I think that also is a good idea. Where's your boy Garrosh at? There he is. So over here in particular, everyone's just taking defensive measures. The shield is really valuable. Now this heals 15%. That's pretty nice. And double up has been boosted as well. Okay, that's good. That's good. And body check. The slow is stronger. Yeah. Interesting. We might try that as well. Imperius. Angelic Armaments has been nerfed. Okay, I think that's probably fair. Burn the Impure. Works with all Valorous brand marks. Damage bonus decreased. Oh. We've got some big Imperius changes. Burn the Impure. Valorous brand deals bonus damage equal to their max health. Oh, that could be insanely good then. If you stack 3 of them on a hero and then you basic attack them, you do a bonus 7.5% max health. That could be very, very good. Bulwark of Flame. The physical armor has been increased. Yeah, that's fine. Flash of Anger. Damage increased. I mean, that's a lot of single target burst then. Like Burn the Impure, Flash of Anger. I think that hits them. Heat of Battle. Heals more when you're lower. Okay, that I think it was good that they buffed that because it was pretty bad compared to these two, which are very good. Level 20. Valorous Pursuit. Cooldown reduced. Also gives armor. Okay. That starts to become kind of appealing then. I still think Heavenly Host is better, but that actually becomes kind of nice. Okay. Just from data, gained from more experienced Imperius players, newest hero will trend right into the sweet spot with his overall balance. We do want to make some tuning adjustments to a few of the talents, make sure they're all attractive choices, however, what the majority of these balance changes aim to address. Lovely. Johanna. Falling Sword damage increased a lot. Cooldown reduced a lot. Mana cost reduced a lot. Cool. Falling Sword Johanna incoming. I like it. Reinforce. Maximum stacks increased. Hold your ground. Shield damage bonus increased. Okay, cool. Buffing my favorite tank. Hooray. 3 charges now. Very nice. And hold your ground buffed as well. These are good. I think I like that too, because I think Laws of Hope is a really fun talent to play around, and it feels kind of good. So I think buffing the other level 1 talents instead is the right option there. Eternal Retaliation. Mana refund increased from 2.5 to 3. What's this? Lower the cooldown Condemn and refunds for each enemy hit. It's not bad, alright. Not bad. Zealous Glare. Blind duration bonus increased. Okay, increase the blind duration. That's nice too. And it extends the thing with her basic attacks. Okay, I like these changes to Johanna. I think it's good. I think you make the level 1 more competitive while still feeling good. Same thing with level 4, and then adding that option at level 7, making it better. Okay, cool. Leoric, lots of changes here too. Fealty unto death. Health restore increased from 1.2.5. Mana restore increased. Okay, I mean, like, this is just never taken, right? So I think it's a nice little change. Where's Leo? I love some Leo as well. So you still have Consumed Vitality, Skeletal Swing, Osign Renewal for those really tough single target matchups. Solo lane matchups. Fealty unto death now buffed a bit. Hardened Bones. Armor bonus increased. Bonus armor duration. Ooh. Hardened Bones. Okay, so a lot of bonus armor. A lot of bonus armor while Drain Hope is active. But the duration is not as long afterwards. That's a massive buff to the talent overall. That's a massive buff. I still think you're going to want, like, Ominous Wraith plus Royal Focus. I just don't see how you would not take those. But I guess this doesn't. Maybe will make a Drain Hope build a little bit better. I still feel like the value of Ominous Wraith is going to be higher. We'll see, though. We'll see. Shadow the Dead King, cooldown reduced. I don't even know what this does. Become protected. 60-second cooldown. It's alright. I mean, it's alright. I'm not sure what build you'd use this in. It's like Buried Alive is so good for the silence. But I don't know. Rexar, Aspect of the Hawk. Attack speed bonus increased by a second. That's nice. Stitches, Gorge, cooldown reduced. And 65. That's a weird one for a heroic, but cool. Savor the Flavor, health increased. So Devour hitting a hero. So the health regen per stack has gotten better. That's nice. It's not too important. Cannibalize, the healing's been slightly buffed as well. Digestive Juices, additional functionality. Devour does more damage to heroes. Ooh. Increase Devour's damage to heroes by 40%. Enemy heroes hit with Devour do 50% reduced damage for 5 seconds. Now that is a big deal. And can't you get like double Devour at some stage? Second helping. My. New Stitches build right there, boys. That could be pretty nice. I mean, in level 20 is where it really takes off, which is usually not that useful. Because, I mean, you often win just purely by the fact that you have level 20, the enemy team doesn't. But still, that's pretty cool. And Silence Line now correctly appears in the collection. Hooray. And Stuff. Imperius. Stuff. Fixed things. Well, there you go, guys. There you go. Okay. Whee! So yeah, there you go. That's an interesting patch. Lots of little changes. I mean, this is a sort of patch that I really like, I'll be honest with you. And that I wish that they used to do more. You know, like a patch where they look at a bunch of heroes. And like, some of these you're not making insanely big changes. Right? They're not insanely big changes, but it's just taking something like the Lost Vikings and being like, okay, their talents are a complete disaster. You know, we're not going to wait like 3 years to rework the hero and leave them in the just disaster spot until then. It's like, we'll do a little bit. Does it make their talents like amazing? No, they're still a mess, but they're a little bit less of a mess than they were before. And I think that's the sort of thing that we needed more often. I think that was one problem that Heroes had, right? The game had, was that instead of doing like more of these little tweaks, they do these gigantic reworks. And what was the problem with the gigantic reworks is that they were often a failure. Like, I mean, Chromie's a great example. They reworked the hero and then they had to come back and rework her a second time. Or like, I mean, Chromie, like Kael'thas was similar to that, you know? Like there's been a bunch of heroes that have been massively changed multiple times to try to get them into a good spot. I think some of these smaller changes sprinkled in along the way, I think they're really nice. So it's good to see a patch like this. I mean, that makes me feel pretty good about the game, and it'd be interesting to see do they keep doing patches like this moving forwards. Yeah, there you go. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys all next time for some more stuff. Until then, goodbye.